a man stole all the gold in a village and buried it in a pit near a tree. A few days later, when he dug up the pit, the gold was gone. This is a story from ancient times. There was a minstrel who lived in a small hut in a poor neighborhood in Agra. He had no one in the world but God. He lived a simple, honest life. Quick wit was his specialty, and singing and playing music were his profession. If he earned some money from his music, he would eat. Otherwise, he would go to sleep hungry. This time, he spent the entire day singing and playing in the city streets, but no one gave him a single penny. He returned to his hut at night and went to bed hungry. The next morning, he went out again to sing and play. He roamed the streets of Agra all day, showcasing his talent. But that day too, he came back empty-handed. No one gave him a penny or even a piece of bread. When he returned to his hut that night, he couldn't sleep because of hunger. He thought, "Singing and playing music are my profession. If I can't even earn a living from it, what's the point? Why aren't people interested in my music?" As he was lost in thought, an idea struck him. He thought, "The king of our country is very kind and generous. Why don't I try my luck at his court tomorrow? Maybe the king or one of his courtiers will like my music, and I'll get something to eat." He spent the night thinking about this. The next morning, he picked up his drum and started walking toward the king's court. He walked all day and reached the court in the afternoon. He requested the guard to inform the king that a minstrel had come to perform his music. The guard delivered the message to the king. The king was in a good mood and gave the minstrel permission to perform. The minstrel began to sing and play his music right there at the entrance. The king liked his performance so much that he listened for a long time. While listening, the king suddenly remembered that minstrels were known for their wit and humor. He decided to test the minstrel's quick wit. The king called him inside, praised his music, and said, "Oh minstrel, you are a hidden talent. Why didn't you come earlier with such a skill? Your art is truly worthy of a reward." The king then asked the minstrel, "My head has so much hair, but why don't my palms have any?" The minstrel, who was already happy to hear the word reward, replied cheerfully, "Your Majesty, you are so generous and constantly give to others. You give so much that the hair on your palms has disappeared." The king was very pleased with this answer. He said, "Your music and quick wit have delighted us. As a reward, we give you a monkey." Immediately, a healthy monkey was brought before the minstrel. However, the minstrel felt no joy at this royal reward. He thought, "What good is a reward that pricks like a thorn of sorrow?" He looked at the monkey, then at the royal palace, and then at himself. He couldn't understand anything. He had come to the king hungry and thirsty in the hope of getting some food, but the king did not understand his pain. He was given a reward that could neither satisfy his hunger nor be used for warmth. The minstrel felt like returning the monkey to the king and plainly stating his purpose for coming, but he was afraid that the king might be displeased with his actions. So he took the royal reward and returned home. At home, he thought, "The king has played a big joke on me. I don't even get 2 meals a day for myself. Where will I get food to feed this monkey? If the king had given me 2 sacks of wheat, rice, or chickpeas. Instead of this monkey, I could have eaten my fill for a few days and lived in peace. But now, this monkey will make my life even more miserable." Thinking this, the poor minstrel started to cry. After crying and feeling a little better, he patted the monkey and said, "Monkey brother, the king didn't understand my heart, and I couldn't muster the courage to tell him. Now I will tell you my heart's plight. Listen carefully. One who is himself lost, how can he show a path to others? I have nothing to eat for myself, so where will I feed you from? Now you will have to be brave. Let's go to a rich village." With this thought, the minstrel took the monkey to another village. Upon reaching there, he told the monkey, "I have an extra drum. I can give you that. Like me, you can also sing and play to earn your living. Eat, drink, and sleep wherever you want, but don't be a burden on me." Saying this, the minstrel went into his hut and came back with a big drum. He tied the drum around the monkey's neck and hung a bag with it. Then he took the monkey to the market. At the market, the minstrel let go of the monkey's rope and said, "My dear monkey, goodbye. Now you earn and eat on your own." Monkeys are known to imitate others. As soon as the monkey started playing the drum like the minstrel, a dum-dum sound began to resonate. People were delighted to see the monkey playing the drum. Happily, they started putting money into the bag tied to the drum. The monkey played the drum in front, and a large crowd followed behind, watching this strange spectacle. A spy from the village saw this spectacle and immediately came forward, telling the minstrel, "What your monkey has done could get you thrown out of this village. You call this a monkey show? You are making your monkey dance by playing the drum. Listen to me. Quit this useless work and find another job. There is no money in this work. This is a waste of time. The hope you came here with will not be fulfilled. I say this with great sadness. You will get nothing from here. We don't work hard to waste our money on beggars like you." The minstrel lowered his gaze to the ground, deep in thought. He had been doing this work for who knows how many years, and no one had ever mocked him or shooed him away like this before. This was the first time that in a village where he had come with high hopes, he had to hear such harsh words instead of earning a good amount. This deeply hurt his feelings. The minstrel responded to the shopkeeper very calmly. "I have traveled from a very distant village. Can I stay here for a few days?" The shopkeeper said harshly, "No, there is no place for you to stay in our village." The shopkeeper was determined to drive the minstrel away. Just then, a deep commanding voice boomed, "Stop! You don't do that to anyone. Is it the custom of this village to not let a guest stay? Why are you chasing him away?" The voice belonged to the village's oldest person, whom everyone called Baba, the man of God. The minstrel looked at him in surprise. Baba was about 90 years old. His white beard testified to his experience. His voice was sweet, and his words showed wisdom. The shopkeeper, who was just moments ago scolding the minstrel, immediately fell silent. What surprised the minstrel the most was that the Baba was blind. With the help of a stick, he was walking toward the minstrel. It was as if he could see everything, even though the truth was that he could not. The Baba asked the minstrel, "Son, where have you come from and why do you want to stay here?" The minstrel replied respectfully, "Baba, I have come from a distant village. My job is to entertain people with my monkey and earn a living in return. I had heard that this is a village of wealthy people, so I came here hoping to get a good reward. But the people here do not value my hard work. Instead, they are making fun of me." Baba sighed deeply and said, "The people here are indeed wealthy, but their hearts are very small. They are more concerned with hoarding their wealth than sharing it. But son, it's not your fault. You are a hard-working person and a guest. It is our responsibility to provide a place to stay for any guest who comes to this village." After this, the Baba told the shopkeeper, "Have we become so heartless that we would push our guest away? Is this our tradition?" The shopkeeper bowed his head in shame and said, "I was wrong. It will not happen again." The Baba told the minstrel, "Come with me. I will give you a place to stay. But remember, it is not easy to please the people here. But if your intentions are pure, the journey becomes easy." A new hope was born in the minstrel's heart. Walking with the Baba, he reached a small, simple hut. The minstrel said to the Baba with surprise, "Everyone here is rich and has big houses, but your house is very small." The Baba smiled but gave no answer. He settled the minstrel in a small room near his house and said, "This place is for you. Rest here, and you can stay as long as you want." The minstrel said thankfully, "Thank you, Baba." The minstrel thought about the great hope with which he had come to this village and what he was seeing here. He thought, "The kindest person in this village is this blind Baba. I have to do something that will benefit me greatly. I came here with good intentions, but the villagers have broken my heart." He thought deeply all night. He realized that if he wanted to get something out of these miserly villagers, he would have to show them a trick that was completely different from their expectations. Just then, he looked at his monkey, who was looking at him with innocence. A dangerous but clever idea came to the minstrel's mind. He told the monkey, "Until today, I have only trained you to perform tricks, but now the time has come to use your skills in a new way. From tomorrow, you will play a strange game, but in such a way that no one finds out." The monkey also nodded in agreement as if it understood its master's plan. The minstrel could not sleep all night and kept teaching his monkey new tricks. Morning came, and someone knocked on his door. When he opened the door, the blind Baba was standing there. He asked the minstrel, What is your intention now? Will you stay here or will you leave?" The minstrel remained silent for a while and then said, "I came here to earn, but after the way I was treated, it doesn't feel right to stay here. But this is my job. I will try. I cannot just leave my livelihood and go away." The Baba said, "You are right. Go on, give it a try. I will go and pray." The minstrel went to the market with his belongings and his monkey. It was a bustling and lively place. He spread his mat in an open area near the market and started playing his small drum. The villagers, who had learned their lesson after the previous day's incident and out of fear of the Baba, gathered to watch his show. The monkey started doing somersaults, making children and some adults laugh. The children clapped at every somersault. The minstrel discreetly signaled the monkey. The monkey, in a playful manner, approached a shopkeeper's pocket and quietly put its hand inside. Surprisingly, the shopkeeper didn't suspect a thing because the monkey's antics were making everyone laugh. When the monkey returned, it had a small gold chain in its hand. The minstrel quickly hid it in his belongings and continued the show. The minstrel had trained the monkey to steal with such cleverness that it looked like part of the show and no one would suspect a thing. From morning until evening, people continued to gather, and the minstrel and his monkey got tired. They returned to their room. At night, the minstrel and his monkey calculated the day's earnings and said, "Today was a successful day, but these people are very clever. We will have to do something new tomorrow so that no one gets suspicious." The monkey replied in its unique voice, as if it understood its master's plan. The minstrel, along with his shows, would also walk around the village to see what everyone was doing. He knew the Baba was blind and only focused on praying to God. The other people were busy with their work, meaning no one paid much attention to others. The wives of the goldsmiths had one beautiful piece of jewelry after another. Since the Baba had told the villagers not to kick the minstrel out, he had a free pass. One day, he decided he would not perform with the monkey but would rest so that the villagers would not get suspicious of him. So, he stayed in his room all day, teaching his monkey new tricks. Then he decided to go for a walk. When he came out of his room, he saw the Baba sitting under a tree, reciting prayers. He didn't pay any attention to the Baba and thought, "He can't see where I'm going." He walked to the shop of the same miserly goldsmith. Large gold ornaments were hanging in the shop. Another idea came to the minstrel's mind. He thought that this time, he would teach this miserly and hard-hearted shopkeeper who had tried to kick him out of the village a lesson with the help of his monkey. He thought about everything at night and went to sleep. In the afternoon, when there were fewer customers at the shops, the minstrel and his monkey reached the same miserly shopkeeper's shop. The minstrel started playing his small drum outside the shop and loudly called people, "Come everyone! Today you will see a show by my monkey that you have never seen before." The shopkeeper, who was sitting inside doing his accounts, came out in a huff and said, "What are you doing here? I told you to leave." The minstrel said innocently, "The Baba has given me permission to stay here, and I am just doing my job." Hearing the name of the Baba, the shopkeeper did not interrupt him again. The monkey started performing outside the shop. It would jump near the door and sometimes climb the shop's awning. People started gathering and laughing. The shopkeeper looked upset, but he was also impressed by the monkey's antics. He laughed heartily at the monkey's performance. This was the minstrel and monkey's skill. They could grab anyone's attention. Meanwhile, the monkey, on the pretext of performing a new trick, jumped inside the shop and went near the gold jewelry. The shopkeeper thought it was part of the show, but the monkey cleverly picked up a gold ornament and quickly came back outside. The people, happy with the monkey's show, put 2 or 3 coins in the minstrel's bag. But the shopkeeper, being stingy once again, said, "I don't have any change right now. I will give it to you tomorrow." The minstrel smiled sarcastically to himself because he had already taken a lot from the shopkeeper's pocket and shop. The minstrel picked up his belongings and, with the monkey, headed toward his room. The Baba was still sitting under the tree, reciting his prayers. After some thought, the minstrel went near him and said, "Thank you very much. If it weren't for you, I would not have gotten my due." The Baba turned his face toward him upon hearing his voice and said, "Yes, whatever you do it with cleanliness. Your experience will come in handy." The minstrel replied, "If you keep praying for me, I will get everything I desire." The Baba said nothing and smiled. The minstrel went to his room and closed the door. At night, the minstrel opened his bag and checked the monkey's pockets, which were filled with gold coins. He patted the monkey's head and said, "Well done. You did a great job. Keep practicing the skills I taught you. Success is not far away. We will also become rich." On the other hand, when the shopkeeper opened his cash box to do his accounts, he found that a gold ornament and a lot of money were missing. Since he used to count every single penny, he understood everything. He was angry and thought that some customer must have stolen from him, but he did not suspect the minstrel or the monkey, because the monkey had played a trick on him so well that he could not understand what kind of foul play had been done to him. This was the monkey's real game, to steal by making people fools. The minstrel was now addicted to this work. In a short time, he was getting his hands on valuable gold, and he was enjoying it a lot. When he used to work honestly, he did not get any money, but now, by stealing, his pockets were filling up. Still, a thief is always afraid of getting caught. Now the minstrel was worried that his earnings would not be seized by someone else. He thought, "I should hide it somewhere. I will dig a pit near one of the dense trees around the village and bury this bundle." When the villagers were sleeping, the minstrel went to a dense tree and buried his bundle in the ground. Then he returned to the village happily. The monkey's show had now turned into a theft, but this was still a secret. The goldsmith's shop was being emptied every day, but no one suspected the minstrel because he would perform his art so cleverly that everyone would be rolling on the floor with laughter. The same people who were annoyed before were now addicted to his monkey's show, and he took full advantage of this. Normally, no one in that village was poor, and everyone was well-to-do, but one day, the minstrel saw that the wife of the richest person in the village was buying gold at the goldsmith's shop. Seeing this, a storm of greed rose in him. He thought, "How much wealth this woman has. She is buying so much gold. Her husband must be an even bigger businessman than the goldsmith. I should steal from her house. But how? First, I have to find her house." When the woman bought the gold from the shop, she started walking toward her house. The minstrel also followed her. He saw that the woman entered a beautiful house. The minstrel's eyes gleamed with greed. He thought, "If I get the wealth from this house, I will be golden. Then I will leave this village and disappear to a place where these people can't even find me." His monkey was on his shoulder. When he came out of the house, he saw the Baba sitting under a tree. At first, he was a little surprised why he was sitting here leaving his house at this hour of the night. He was suspicious that maybe the Baba could see him. He walked slowly toward him and waved his hands all around to confirm that no one could see him. The Baba had his eyes closed and was reciting his prayers, and he did not pay any attention to the minstrel. The minstrel looked at him with a clever smile and walked away. He had now reached the front of the woman's house. He signaled the monkey and said, "Go and do your work." He asked the monkey to do everything he had taught it. He also gave it a bag and said, "Bring back all the valuables you can get your hands on." The minstrel was confident that his monkey would not get caught, and so it happened. After a while, the monkey returned with a bag filled with many things. The minstrel looked around. There was no one there. He thanked God and took the monkey to his room. When he opened the bag, his eyes lit up with joy. The bag contained big gold necklaces. This time, the monkey had hit the jackpot. But the minstrel saw that the monkey was standing with its head bowed in sadness, as if it were ashamed of something. The minstrel patted its back and said, "You have fulfilled your duty. See, our luck will surely shine. I will feed you a lot of fruits." The minstrel told the monkey, "Go and bury this bag in the ground near that tree." The monkey already knew where its master hid his treasure. It did as it was told and came back after finishing its work. Today, the minstrel was very happy. He had fulfilled his wish. That night, he had a very peaceful sleep. He had made a firm decision that he would leave the village the next morning without meeting anyone, as his conscience was bothering him. But in the early morning, he woke up to a commotion. He immediately opened the door and came out. A crowd of people had gathered, and some women were crying. He suddenly remembered what he had done last night and wondered if this commotion was because of that. The woman was the wife of that businessman. Her husband was consoling her, but she was cursing the thief, saying, "May God destroy the one who stole my jewelry." The minstrel, pretending to be innocent, asked the people, "Why is this woman crying?" A man told the minstrel, "Her husband is a big businessman. He was out of the house and the woman was alone at home. A thief came and stole everything in the dark of night. She had bought some jewelry just a few days ago, and that's also missing. Who knows who this thief is who has entered our village?" The minstrel tried to fool the people with his cunning. When he heard about the theft, he pretended to be shocked so that he could retrieve the treasure and escape. When he went to the tree, he saw that the ground was already dug up and the treasure was gone. The ground slipped from under his feet. He now understood that someone had discovered the secret of his theft. He was terrified. If the villagers found out, they would not spare him. But where was the treasure now? No one knew that the stolen jewelry was hidden here. He couldn't decide whether to go back to the village or leave it behind and move on, as his hands were empty. All his hard work had been for nothing. But who had done this? He mustered the courage to return to the village and saw that the crowd was still there, and the people were still standing there in distress. He couldn't ask them anything. He thought, "Did someone really see me stealing? Or is this someone else's trick?" The minstrel came up with a new plan in his heart and continued his show to convince the villagers of his innocence. He decided that he would find the person who had made his valuable goods disappear. The people were so worried that they didn't even notice that the minstrel had left the village and returned. The minstrel was pretending to share in the villagers' grief to hide his own anxiety and nervousness. Suddenly, the Baba came forward from the middle of the crowd. The Baba said, "Oh, villagers, you have all seen the skill of this minstrel. I am blind, but I also know how the monkey used to perform. Now, let me show you all a game." The minstrel's breath caught in his throat, but the people looked at the Baba in confusion. The Baba struck the ground with his stick and said in a loud voice, "The thief is not far away. He is right here among us. But remember, the end of greed is always disgrace." The minstrel's heart started beating faster. The Baba said, "Let's go outside the village," then pointed toward the tree and said, "This is the place where the thief hid his ill-gotten gains. Now watch God's grace, the truth will reveal itself." The Baba raised his hands in prayer, and a strange thing happened. Suddenly, the monkey ran toward the tree and started digging the ground. The crowd watched in astonishment. A few moments later, the monkey pulled out the bundle that the minstrel had buried. The Baba ordered, "Monkey, open this bundle and show what's inside." As soon as the monkey flipped the bag on the Baba's command, a lot of coins and gold came out. All the stolen goods that the minstrel had hidden were in the bag. The color drained from the minstrel's face. The Baba looked at the minstrel with a piercing gaze and said, "This is the thief who has been using his art for fraud. This person is a killer of the villagers' trust. He was getting the thefts done behind the monkey's show." The minstrel's lie had been exposed. The minstrel said angrily, "How do you know that I am the thief and that I put this bundle near this tree? You are blind." The Baba said, "If you had done nothing, why would your monkey, on my command, take out this bundle from near this very tree?" The minstrel immediately shouted, "Villagers, this Baba is the thief. He made the monkey take out that gold. I don't know anything about this." The Baba was enraged, but before he could say anything, the monkey, by God's will, started to speak. "Oh, wretched man, you call the person who gave you shelter here as a guest, who gave you respect and a place in his house, a thief? You made me do this theft because your hunger was not getting satisfied." The monkey said, "Oh, villagers, listen. To take revenge on this shopkeeper, this minstrel made me steal. First, he made me steal gold from his shop. Then he made me clean out that woman's house. I do what my master tells me. But God gave me a voice because you were insulting a man of God. Now the truth has come out." The people started to move toward the minstrel in anger, but the Baba raised his hand and stopped everyone. He said, "This person, because of his greed, took the path of the devil, but what were you people doing? You also showed stinginess. God had blessed you, but you never spent your money for his hard work. Look, this person was doing his work here and sweating it out. And most importantly, this animal, who was making you happy and laugh, you didn't even spend money on him." The Baba was pointing toward the shopkeeper. He also chose a path that led him to evil, and he stole. He also made the monkey a thief. All of you are guilty. The minstrel fell at the Baba's feet and started asking for forgiveness. The villagers were also ashamed. They said, "Yes, we also did wrong. God gave us so much wealth, but we didn't spend our wealth on the path of God." The Baba handed over all the stolen goods to their owners. Then he told the minstrel, "The way you got lost and committed the sin with your innocent monkey, it displeases God." The minstrel promised that he would choose the right path in his life. The Baba forgave him. The villagers gave him a lot of rewards, which were the earnings of his hard work and the right of his monkey. The minstrel's cunningness had come to an end. He left the village, but the Baba's words had created a new light in his heart. He moved forward with new hope,